Right, then I've done my little patches, and what I've done is cleaned out my airbrush, and then I've got our good old thinners in there. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to come in with straight up H307, which is the original colour that we put down on this. I'm going to dip my paintbrush in, one dollop should do it, or maybe two. Right, and that should give us around about maybe a 30% paint to thinners. Again, nice and transparent, right, so we've got more control. Always better to put more than one coat down than trying to get it all down in one go. Right, check our flow, see how we're doing, you know, get our biting points, practice on that a bit, make sure we're feeling good with it. Right, and then what we're going to do is, let's just position this a little bit better for you guys. What we're going to do is, we've got our sort of big mark that's going on here, right, really sort of dirty and horrible, but a bit too much. But what we're going to do, we're going to represent the ground crew coming in and touching up with some spray paint. So coming in with the original colour, right, because our model has had so much weathering going on with all our bleaching, with all our post shading, pre-shading, right, coming in with the original colour actually makes these areas look a bit different to everywhere else, which then gives us this nice sort of effect. If we just nicely sort of colour in these bad patches, a nice effect of looking like the ground crew have come in and sprayed these areas with some sort of an aerosol can or something. Hopefully, as you can just see there, we did do another bit just at the back here. Let's have a go at this. Right. And it's just the same kind of skill of doing pre-shading, post-shading, bleaching. Nice low pressure, thin paint. Practice on your biting point. And hopefully, as you can see there, it just gives us such a lovely, lovely effect. I'll just show you on camera there, rather neat. I'm just going to go around and do that to those little patches. I mean, in some of the areas, I mean, I don't know, I'm looking at this one here, it's not too in your face, but I might just leave that and kind of just leave that one just a little bit dirty. Again, all this random weathering just, you know, just adds to the flavour. It's just all about not going too far with it as well. So we've done our, you know, pre-shading, bleaching, post-shading with this now. Now what we're going to do is, we do have just here our towel section here. It's black, right? Now doing black is different from doing your normal bog standard bleaching, pre-shading and all that kind of stuff. We've got to go about it a little bit differently, and that's just because when we do say our pre-shading, we use black to pre-shade, but when we're already black, we can't pre-shade black, can we? Because it's just not going to work, and all that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is go about this differently and show you how to do it. So first off, we've already sort of sprayed this full on black. That's our primer, so to speak. So let's just get some locking tweezers just here, so we can sort of hold this nicely, like so. Cool locking tweezers. I've had them for years, couple of quid. I'll buy loads of them so you can make sure you can hold everything. Now what we're going to do is, we're going to start off with pre-shading, but we're going to come in with 001 white. When it comes to doing black, I like to sort of, you try and think of it as sort of like an opposite to what you'd normally do, because we'd be pre-shading in black, but actually we're going to go opposite and pre-shade it in white. So just getting out our airbrush as always, you know, let's just thin this a little bit. Right, it is Vallejo. Vallejo's quite thin, so you know, maybe 40% paint to thinners. Let's give it a good stir with a paintbrush. Right, and it is simply just like you would with your pre-shading. Right, we're going to do exactly the same but with white. So again, I mean, it's probably hard to see, but I'm just getting my biting point, making sure this is flowing nice. You know, pull back the trigger, and it's that point in which, there you go, the white starts to come out. That's what we're trying to hold. And then we come to our model and we do the same thing here. So we're going to follow all our, let's bring you in a little bit closer maybe. We're going to follow all our recessed panel lines, get that biting point, follow those recessed panel lines. Remember, we don't have to be so nice and uniform and have everything nice and square and neat and trying to show off our spraying here. Just kind of keep it random. This is weathering, and weathering's all about keeping it random. Right, so I'm just going to go around and do all this like we would any other pre-shading, like I've already shown you. The only difference is we primed it black and we are pre-shading white. So I've just finished doing our pre-shading. I'm just cleaning out our colour cup, but there we go. All the pre-shading has been done. As you can see, it's just the same. It's just black, white on black. Right, so I'm just cleaning out my colour cup as we would always do. Right, blow out the excess. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use a nice colour here for doing black. I do like it. It's called NATO Black, and that's 71251 by Vallejo. We pour this in our colour cup, and what this colour is, it's basically a very dark grey. So what we end up here with is we're now going to be spraying this, so it's not black but it's like a very dark grey. Right, so this is going to be our main colour. Right, so let's get you on camera. What we're going to do is, as always, start off with that light misty coat where we hardly see it go down, and already, as you can see, you know, it's starting to sort of fade that white out a little bit. Now I'm going to add you know, a bit of thinners, right, because I did actually forget to add some, because we don't want it to be too strong, because if it's too strong, what's going to happen is we're going to basically kill off our white really quickly. Right, what we want is our paint to be transparent, so as we slowly you know, knock back the white. So we're going to come in with a normal light coat like so, as you can see just there. Right, and that's just nicely starting to knock back that white. So if I bring this one as a comparison next to it, as you can see, it's just nicely starting to fade. So we need to let that dry a bit. So let's just cut to air. It just keeps on cocking underneath our blocking tubes there. So just cut into air, and we can whack a second coat on. Right, so let's now whack on our second coat. Now this is quite a thin mixture, so I'm quite happy with it, to be fair. Right, but if your mixture's maybe a bit too thick and you're seeing that white being killed off sort of pretty quickly, just add more thinners. Better to have a thin paint mixture and do, you know, 4 or 5 coats and get what you want than to kill it off, because, you know, when you're doing this for the first time, you're probably going to kill it off pretty quick. But as you get used to it, you'll know just to thin down your paint, make it transparent, so we don't kill it off. So now we're sort of getting somewhere, but as I say, I think my mixture is quite thin, so I'm probably going to have to put maybe 4 or 5 coats on, which is absolutely fine. So I'll keep doing that until we get to the last bit.